Hi, I'm Ashley Browne. You are...
I'm Charlie Happell.
And welcome to BackPageLead video vodcast. We're casting around for a name, so if you can think of anything for this 2 or 3 minutes of fluff we're going to come up with every so often, let us know. Comments at backpagelead.com.au.
Fluff.
Fluff. Talking fluff. Talking fluff. Welcome to Talking Fluff on backpagelead.com.au. A couple of big stories on our site today, which is Wednesday, the 21st of July. The first one is a great piece by Tim Lane looking at the enduring rivalry, Charlie, between Mick Malthouse and Kevin Sheedy.
Two of the bigger names in the game, really, in the history of the game. And they've both been around for 25 or 30 years at least. Mick has mellowed, I think, a bit since he's arrived at Collingwood under Eddie's guiding hand. But goodness me, as someone who worked at the West Australian in his halcyon days as West Coast coach, I can attest to the fact he was a very prickly character at times and was never going to win a Mr. Congeniality Award.
Well, you saw one of his finest moments.
Well, I've heard about the time he got Daryl Timms up against the
no, I saw that. I was from here to you from that. That was famous.
I was there after the 91 grand final when they lost to Hawthorn, and Mick got Luke Morfess, a West Australian reporter, up against the wall and had to be dragged away by some of his colleagues.
Yes, by Ian Miller, no doubt. Nizzy and those guys. Yeah, no, Mick has mellowed. It's fascinating, the whole Sheedy. They've been at each other for a very long time. Former Richmond teammates too, which makes it interesting as well. So they were teammates for 4.5 seasons. But they won't coach against each other, which is probably the sad part.
Very sad. 2012, Nathan Buckley is listed to be a Collingwood coach. So he will come up against Sheeds. Sheeds might recruit Stephen Milne for that game, I'm not sure.
Yeah, put him in the forward pocket to snipe. So it's a good story by Tim, and we commend it to you. The other talking point is it's the eve of the second test at neutral Headingley between Australia and Pakistan, and possibly a bit of a changing in the guard in the Australian batting lineup.
Yes, we think Usman Khawaja, the Pakistani-born left-hander, will play tonight. And if he does, that renders a few of his colleagues around the Sheffield Shield traps very unlucky. Yeah,
well, ones in particular being Michael Klinger, the South Australian captain, Victorian batsman David Hussey and Tasmanian batsman George Bailey, who all have the runs on the board, as James Dunn illustrates in his story on BackPageLead. They've had the runs up the board the last couple of years, but probably because of age aren't going to get a look in. I think he's 24, but these guys are pushing 30, which doesn't help.
No, it doesn't. And he's a very nice batsman. He's got great stats. No better than those three batsmen you mentioned, I should say. However, he's 6 years younger. We hear from our sources that he's a very compact left-hander, perhaps a bit more compact than Philip Hughes. Not as inclined to flash outside the off stump. So it'd be really interesting to see how he goes. But once again, the national selectors have shown that a batsman with NSW behind his name has kind of got a bunk up ahead of some of his rivals.
And you have to wonder how that happens time and time again. Anyway, so that's a good story by Jimmy Dunn on BackPageLead. And tomorrow, being Thursday, we've got Ed White looking at the new name of the AFL team and some of the AFL nicknames. So that's the story to look out for. What else we've got coming up?
A bumper feast of news and opinion.
Yeah, on BackPageLead. So this has been the Daily Fluff, working title at least. And watch out for us on YouTube and on BackPageLead. And we'll talk to you again soon.